Breakout shot Chapter 4 Darby and the Old Man. The man parks down the street and across the alley from the door with the green awning. He smokes and watches since dusk there in the car, maybe 3 hours past, and it is as though there were a curtain draped over him, heavy and dusty. His mind swims through the layers of shadow as the night drifts in over the streets and the glow of the streetlight comes on, and yet he still watches, and the smoke from his cigarette drifts up into the still air through the crack of open window beside him and up into the streetlight glow. A man in a sleeveless shirt, his arms covered in faded tattoos, leans on the door as he presses the buzzer and goes in. He is followed by a man with the demeanor of a seasoned horse bettor, with a translucent green brim, and after him a bleary and disheveled golfer, untucked and unshaven, and now a few beers too many. Then, after some time, a man, blatantly covert, with a hat low down over his eyes, rings the bell with one of his long, strange arms raised, and when he lowers his arm, it seems to hang down to his knees. The man in the car only sees the arms there now, and the door buzzes and the long arms go in. He slouches into the seat and he is hungry and thirsty, but does not care. The radio is on, but down so low there is only indiscernible sound. But there in the quiet mumbling he hears a voice telling him to wait. In the midnight hour, an old man in white with a wide-brimmed hat comes to the door beneath the green awning, and the man in the car shoots up in his seat now and leans forward, eyes wide, watching intently. He squints and watches, his face slack as he leans forward and breathes shallow through his mouth. He is focused on the old man in white. The car radio seems louder now, but is still indiscernible. The old man looks up and down the street, but not at him, parked in the darkness on the other side of the alley. The door buzzes and the old man in white opens the door and he is gone. The man in the car sits leaning forward there for a while, staring at the door. Then he slouches back into his seat and stares into the distance, thinking. He does not watch the door anymore. When it was very late into the night, he got out of the car and went up to the door under the green awning. He rang the bell and waited. The speaker crackled and a voice came through. "Yeah? Who are you? I heard there was a poker game here. I wanted to inquire about playing." "That's not an identity. So you're a man inquiring. I asked who you are." "I'm Darby." "Where did Darby hear about this poker game? Do you have some kind of reference?" "I heard of it while playing in some card game. Where exactly is—" "Well, it's hazy. They told me to check out the place with the green awning, I remember. Said the games were good." "Did they now?" Said, "Good games, they said. They did mention there was good action. I'm hoping to play tonight." "Said the action was good, did they?" Said the voice. "Yes, they mentioned it." "They mentioned the good action specifically?" asked the voice. "Yes, they mentioned the action being good." There was silence for a bit and the speaker crackled. "All right, Darby, come on up." The door buzzed and Darby opened the door and went up the stairs. The card room was quiet. There was only the noise of chips shuffling and a fan droning in the corner. 2 tables of players with a dealer at each table, and at the third table sat a man by himself, clean-shaven and his slick black hair pulled back tight into a small tail. He had a notepad and a calculator, and a cup of tea on a ceramic coaster, and a cigarette resting in an ashtray on the green felt poker table before him. The felt was very clean, noticeably so to him, as if someone had meticulously brushed it. "You got lucky," one of the players said. "What the hell are you talking about? I had you beat the entire time," said the other. "But you'd have folded if I kept betting and you didn't get so lucky. I could see it was a bad card came on the river. I ain't blind, so I could see it. So I quit betting." "If you knew it was such a bad card, why'd you call then?" asked the other. "To satisfy my curiosity, and if you were really as lucky a bastard as you seem," yelled the man, and he pointed, and this seemed to end the conversation, and everyone was quiet again. "Darby, welcome to the green room," the man with the slick black hair at the table said. "You want to play cards? There's a seat open." Darby pulled out a roll of cash and took several $100 bills out and handed them to the doorman, a wide man dressed in black. Darby sat down in the open seat. The old man in white was at another table, across the room from him. He looked at the old man from across the room, and when the old man noticed him looking, he grinned at the old man. The old man frowned and looked down at the felt, and his hat brim went down low over his eyes. The dealer dealt out the cards, and right away Darby got involved in the action. He raised the pot and bet when checked to, and won several hands without contest. He played into the night and got involved in many more pots than was reasonable, and he ran hot, and luck was on his side. Then it was nearly dawn, and the old man stood, and having lost all his chips, made his way through the room to leave. Darby reached into his pocket and could feel the old pistol, the heavy weight of it against his palm and his fingers. The gun Keith had given to him when he had asked for it, and Keith had asked why, and he had told him for protection, but really it was because he saw the color red in his dreams. Always red, spreading and warping the dreams, everything bleeding away and never making any sense, besides an endless red madness. Not tonight, he thought. It can be another night. He loosened his grip on the gun, but left his hand hovering over it, like a lover brushing fingertips over skin, sensual with careful love, love for the problems it could solve. Just point it and pull, let the red flood over everything. It would be the culmination and pinnacle of his hate realized in a single explosive moment. The old man laughed out the door, and Darby slouched into his chair. For a moment he saw himself running out after him into the street, and pointing and pulling again and again and again, until the hammer clicked, screams echoing in his mind through all of endless time repeating, "Do you know who I am? Do you remember me?" But instead he slouched further into his chair and thought of nothing else. He played on into the night and past dawn and into the afternoon, until he was like a husk, so tired he thought he would sleep a dreamless and black sleep, but it was all red again this time, just as it always was, endlessly red, bleeding over everything.